A beautiful Thursday morning. It is the 6th of June. The year is 2024. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Ndegwa and we are more than pleased that you have chosen us to start off your morning. Today is Entertainment Thursday and you know how we do it right here on Good Morning Kenya. We get to bring you the best of the best in terms of music and artists as well as creatives in the industry. And today I am not alone. Mike is here with me. And last week, Mike, ulinihepa. Leo, bumper to bumper. Good morning.
When duty calls, I had to respond. So I know I left you hanging, but we'll figure something out.
We'll figure it today. Tutapanga hiyo maneno. Today is that day.
Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe, and it's always a pleasure to have you on board. This is Entertainment Thursday, but before we get to the entertainment part, we are going to have two important conversations. One which will revolve around the Postal Corporation of Kenya, the State of Postal Corporation of Kenya. I'll be speaking to the Postmaster General, who is Kipyegon Tonui, who will be in studio to help me with that conversation. And also, I'll be having another conversation revolving around Public Service Superannuation Fund. What is it? I'll be speaking to the CEO of that scheme, who is Dr. Jonah Ayabei, and also Kevin Anyor, who is also a trustee of that superannuation fund. So you want to tune in and find out more about this. In the meantime, DJ Unique.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I go by the name Unique, the DJ, the best DJ in the continent. And today, last time we to help, but this round, tutapanga bumper to bumper.
Tutapanga mikakati.
Ni leo, hakuna kupanga.
Tutapanga mikakati.
Yeah, leo.
Yes.
So as you know, mazee mimi nakwanga tu ule wa ma playlist tu pale mango kali mpya zimetoka. Kwanza last time tu compile za last week na this week. So I have a lot of new music that are lined up. Maybe let me just mention like Major akona new song, Jua Kali akona new song, Otile Brown, Victoria Kimani. The list is endless, so just keep stay tuned. I'll be sampling those songs in the pale kwa mix.
So in the words of Steve Simple Boy, leo ni kumoto manze.
Actually, Steve pia got a new song.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually, there is a song that was released yesterday by BN and Fally Ipupa.
Wow, it's a fire. It's a good song.
The remix to My Sherry. Sasa Abdi sijui kama unatuelewa.
We are circling back to the conversation. Why between Vivian's interview, Mike alitoroka?
Well,
we're still on that issue.
Can I just give you the answer in the shortest words possible?
Yes.
He did not want to dance. So how well are your dancing skills, Hashim?
I was born with two left feet, so I cannot even move. I cannot even jiggle to the tunes.
In my defense, Jute called, I had to respond.
That's a lie.
Tumesikia hiyo mara mingi.
Take us through the news.
Thank you so much, and of course that is coming up in just a few. And given that we have the creatives here in the creative industry, in the next few weeks or so they'll be getting their enumeration when it comes to the budget, with the budget 2024-2025 expected to be presented in Parliament. We have that and so much more in the next few hours or so. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. But before that, let's get to inform you on the stories making headlines at this hour. We start off beyond our borders, where President William Ruto has assured Kenyans of increased vaccines availability after Kenya joined the International Vaccine Institute, IVI, as a member state. Speaking at the ceremony held to mark the country's ratification of the IVI treaty at the agency's headquarters in Seoul, South Korea on Wednesday, Ruto said Kenya's accession to the IVI boosts the nation's quest for self-reliance in vaccine production. This comes as Kenya received over 8 million doses of routine childhood vaccines following critically low levels in hospitals across the country.
Third day of President William Ruto's state visit in South Korea. Speaking at the ceremony held to mark the country's ratification of the International Vaccine Institute Treaty at the agency's headquarters in Seoul, South Korea, Ruto said Kenya had learned critical lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic's challenges in accessing vaccines and emphasized commitment to reduce reliance on external manufacturers of vaccines and other pharmaceuticals.
The time has come, therefore, for Africa to actualize health sovereignty by liberating itself from dependency on unsustainable frameworks and accelerating initiatives to become self-reliant in vaccine production.
President Ruto thanked IVI for announcing the establishment of a country and project office in Nairobi, saying it will bolster Kenya's universal health coverage agenda and promote African self-reliance in vaccine production.
In vaccine production and supply terms, no one is safe until everyone is safe. Making vaccines universally accessible to all our people, regardless of nationality and status, is an urgent imperative that we must respond to without any hesitation.
It has been shown that the surest way to prevent disease, Your Excellency, is through immunization. We can only achieve that by investing in vaccines.
IVI Director General Jerome Kim affirmed his agency's commitment to building a stronger, sustainable vaccine ecosystem that advances science, prevents disease, and saves lives.
With the exceptional support of the Kenyan government and our research and development collaborators, we're now preparing to establish IVI's country office in Nairobi, which will host an initiative called Advancing Vaccine End-to-End Capabilities in Africa.
Kenya is committed to partnering with the African Union Commission, Africa Center for Disease Control, the African Medicines Agency, the World Health Organization, and the IVI to strengthen the continent's vaccine production.
And let's come back here to the country where the government has been challenged to curb wastages and corruption, seal tax leakages and tax evasion to sustain the national budget as opposed to increasing taxes on commodities. Giving submissions to the Finance Committee, Anglican Church Kenya Archbishop Reverend Dr. Jackson Ole Sapit, however, said the burden of increased taxes should be shouldered by all.
Anglican Church of Kenya was on Tuesday among stakeholders presenting their submissions on the finance bill before the Finance and Planning Committee of the National Assembly. Anglican Church of Kenya Archbishop Most Reverend Dr. Jackson Ole Sapit saying instead of imposing new taxes and increasing taxes on basic commodities such as cooking oil and bread, the government should curb wastage and seal loopholes in tax collection.
The taxes we are paying going to what will benefit Kenyans generally, or they are misplaced and they are not put in a way that it comes back to me.
However, he was taken to task of whether to tax church donations and tithes, among other collections.
We are exempted from taxation on tithes and Sunday collections. But any other money we make, say we have a guest house or we have a hotel, we are not exempt from taxation, and we pay and comply with our taxation, and we file our reports.
Other stakeholders, including Telcom Kenya, Lexlick and Marketers Society of Kenya, called for rejection of taxes in the digital space, arguing the move will cripple the new digital jobs industry.
The 24,000 shillings threshold on withholding tax, this is likely to impact low-income earners and place them at a disadvantage. In our Gen Z language, we would say that this proposal is not giving.
Institute of Engineers of Kenya lamented that punitive taxes on local manufacturing were driving importation of cheaper goods from abroad.
And we are proposing tax exemptions on the implements that are going to help manufacturing possible. We're very strong on encouraging industrialization because when we build industries, then we create employment opportunities.
The chair of the committee clarified that no decision had been made yet on the proposed taxes.
The decisions that we make as a country should not disadvantage us against our neighbors and have people shift from our country, go to other countries.
And in other news, a post-mortem conducted on the body of a child who died in a police cell at Kiambu Police Station in Makueni County on May 30th this CM has revealed that the late Alex Mutua suffered head trauma. The 19-month-old baby's family is now seeking justice against the police officers who allegedly assaulted his mother and him, leading to his death.
Days after police officers at Kambo Police Station denied knowledge of the death of a baby, an autopsy conducted on an 18-month-old baby who died while in the police station cells has revealed that he succumbed to head trauma. According to the pathologist who conducted the post-mortem examination at Kambo Sub-County Hospital mortuary, Dr. Grace Midigo, the baby was hit on the head, resulting in a fatal blood clot in the brain.
Nikatumiwa 60:30 message kutoka Kalembe Police Station inasema ati walinishika saa 11 ya mchana mtoto akiwa uwai, na alafu akasema ati nilikuja na mtoto nikarudi kwa nyuma mtoto akiwa sawa, na nikarudi huko saa 5 ya usiku nikiendea OB, ambapo nakaa na hiyo juu ameanza kujitetea juu walimbukiwa.
The late child's family, led by his grandfather Onesmus Chalo, have appealed for government's intervention in seeking justice.
Daktari amesema ameona kama huyo mtoto yani kifo chake kimetokana na injury ya kichwa. Kwa hivyo kama family tutaendelea na kujua hapo mbele iko namna gani, na haki ya huyo mtoto itendeke.
And apologies for that earlier. It is not Kiambu Police Station, it is Kambu Police Station, and we do hope the family get the justice they require. Also to the corridors of the justice, where Ian Njoroge, the youth who allegedly assaulted and robbed a traffic police officer along Committee Road, has failed in his second attempt to be released on bail. Senior Principal Magistrate Ben Amake Kumbi has, however, ordered the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution to take Ian to Kenyatta National Hospital after his lawyer said he had been badly battered by police officers and needed urgent medical attention. The court will pronounce its ruling on the application this Friday.
The Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution on Wednesday, through lead prosecuting counsels Victor Owiti, James Gashoka and Virginia Kariuki, asked the court to deny the accused bail, stating that the offense committed was against the state.
In the traffic case, the state did not oppose bond. The reason being the seriousness of the offense. The traffic offenses were minor offenses, Your Honor. And that is why we did not oppose bond.
The assaulted officer Jacob Ogendo, through his lawyer Danstan Omari, told the court he will wish to testify in the court first before the accused Ian Njoroge is given a bail or bond.
The import of that, in the event he dies within 1 year and 1 day, the accused shall stand charged with the offense of murder.
However, defense counsels led by Duncan Okacha and Lempaso Yinka demanded that Njoroge be released.
If they're relying on social media, he's the tragic hero for refusing to pay a bribe. He has been dragged to court and is here with us. What will happen if you hand the accused person to the police officers who are in this courtroom in unprecedented numbers? Not even charges of terrorism have attracted such a huge chunk of police officers. What will happen to this accused person?
The court ordered that he be remanded at Industrial Area Medium Prison, awaiting the Friday ruling.
So what I want to say, I want to thank you. You've made very erudite the arguments. I want to thank all the parties for their, the decorum and the tickles in between. So I wish to thank you. I'll see you on 7th at 9 a.m.
Elsewhere, Embakasi's legislator Babu Owino and 6 other co-accused persons have been set free in relation to the opposition organized protest last year.
And having regards that the sections declared unconstitutional are the same sections facing the accused persons before you, it stands that the charges before you with regards to all the accused persons have been nullified by that judgment, Your Honor.
The DPP sought to withdraw the matter upon a High Court decision that declared the charge of unlawfully assembly unconstitutional.
And based on that decision, the application made by the prosecution is merited. The case is therefore terminated under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Code. Cash bail deposited to be released to the respective depositors thereof. Orders accordingly.
Babu Owino and his co-accused were arrested and charged last year amid the nationwide anti-government protests by the Azimio la Umoja coalition. After 3-hour submissions from the defense, the victims and the prosecuting counsels, a pre-bail report has to be provided before the court for the court to know the background information about Ian before he can secure his freedom. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani Law Court.
Thank you, Ruth, for that comprehensive coverage. Let's head over to Parliament, where members of Parliament have approved an increment of 51.1 billion shillings for the recurrent expenditure as the 2023-2024 financial year comes to a close in the next 3 weeks. Consequently, the lawmakers have reduced the budget for development expenditure for this financial year by 75 billion shillings. This comes as MPs took issue with the National Treasury for abuse of Article 223 of the Constitution, which allows the executive to withdraw from the exchequer monies that have not been appropriated for emergency needs.
With less than 1 month to the end of the 2023-2024 financial year, the National Assembly has adopted the second supplementary budget estimates, approving an expenditure of 51.1 billion shillings in recurrent votes, including fertilizer subsidies, enhancing security apparatus, and resettlement of flood victims.
So in terms of the recent rains, Honorable Speaker, we have had to expend public resources in terms of mitigation of the damage caused by the El Nino. And I want to assure honorable members that we have also incorporated the expenditure, both at Article 223 and the requirements for the remaining part of the financial year in these supplementary estimates.
Also in the increase in recurrent, some of that money, most of it is going to personal emoluments, and this cuts across various MDAs. Some of it is going to medical insurance for civil servants. Some of this money is even going to security operations. Some of this money, we've been told, is going to cater for allowances for our security and drivers.
Members approved the expenditure of 7 billion for the El Nino rains emergency needs, even as they cautioned against abuse of Article 223 of the Constitution.
And I think it is important, as a country, Honorable Speaker, the executive does what it takes to reduce abuse of this article. If you look at this article, it only allows unplanned activities and emergency. And when you look at it at times, Honorable Speaker, you realize some of the expenditure items don't fall under that category.
Continue every cycle to complain about misuse of Article 223 of the Constitution. But we do nothing about it. In fact, we help the executive perpetuate this vice. I have proposed a legislation in this House, Mr. Speaker, to streamline and actualize and bring a statute to actualize Article 223, because it is too general. It is a blank check that we give the executive, more particularly Treasury.
It is your responsibility as the Public Accounts Committee to ensure that as we appropriate money under budget, we ensure that we are also not wasting the same money. And if there is a State Department that has wasted money, they should not be appropriated more money.
Legislators, however, expressed reservations with Treasury's proposal to reduce development expenditure, saying it will affect the economy.
What is the justification for this? When we are cutting development budget, we are simply not growing the economy. And so when we cut budget for this year, we affect the following year. Because the economic growth for the present financial year is supposed to help and influence what is supposed to happen in the economy in the subsequent financial year.
Is affecting development donor fund, partner funds. And Honorable Speaker, this is of concern because this may increase operational costs. And we are told that this has been attributed by shortfalls in revenue collection.
The estimates in terms of revenue that we had at the beginning of the year were a bit optimistic. But, Honourable Speaker, that is not to say that we are not performing in terms of revenue. We are performing as a country with a double-digit growth in revenue, only that we projected to correct much more, and therefore we had overstretched our targets.
Meanwhile, the House approved Mediation Committee's report on the Division of Revenue Bill 2024, allocating 400.1 billion shillings to the counties in the next financial year.
And the budget will be presented next week, and of course we'll be keeping an eye on that. Now, elsewhere to business news, importers are required to register their consignment at the source country on a new integrated anti-counterfeit authority platform. Anti-Counterfeit Authority Chief Executive Officer Dr. Robbie Mbugua says the platform seeks to set up counterfeit surveillance on imports online and enhance product traceability of goods shipped into the Kenyan market.
The Anti-Counterfeit Authority says Kenya loses 800 billion shillings annually to illicit trade and counterfeit products, accounting for 9% of the total illicit trade. The Anti-Counterfeit Authority has trained its eyes on prevention of entry of counterfeit products from their source markets. Under a new integrated system, importers are required to declare their products at the country of origin.
Do with the counterfeit good at the source, even before those goods are shipped into the country or loaded into the ship, that whatever is going to be loaded into the ships and eventually come into our country is not counterfeit.
The integrated system will also have components to track goods from source to the market in efforts to trace illicit goods in the country.
This looks at providing a platform to support the business environment, fight anti-counterfeit initiatives, support it for anti-counterfeit initiatives, protect the innovators, protect the businesses, and more important than anything else, protect the consumers.
The new platform will also see intellectual property cases filed online.
It is where we are allowing consumers, the owners of IP, to lodge any complaint. They don't have to come to our office to come and bring the cases they have.
The authority says it is holding counterfeit goods worth 1.5 billion shillings that it plans to destroy.
1.5 billion worth of goods that are held in our various depots, and most of the goods that we are holding include electronics.
The private sector recorded the sharpest expansion in activity in 20 months in May, driven by falling costs and increased new businesses. The latest Stanbic Bank Kenya's Purchasing Managers Index indicates that a reduction in fuel prices and import costs led to a further drop in overall input prices in May, after the first decrease in nearly 4 years was recorded in April.
The headline Purchasing Managers Index was a reading of 51.8 in May 2024. A Purchasing Managers Index reading above 50.0 signals an improvement in business conditions on the previous month, while readings below 50.0 show a deterioration. Expectations regarding output over the next 12 months rebounded strongly from February's record low, as falling inflationary pressures increased customer spending. Overall input prices fell for the second month running and was the fastest ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, due to dollar-shilling rates remaining strong. Additionally, confidence by firms was fueled by planned investments in manufacturing and wholesale and retail sectors. Firms also continued hiring workers for the 5th month running. Concurrently, firms expanded their inventories and improved their buffers. The latest Stanbic Bank Kenya's Purchasing Managers Index survey indicates that Kenyan businesses expressed confidence about future activity than they did at the beginning of the year, with the improvement based on planned investment in marketing, new branches, recruitment, and purchase of new vehicles. Despite this optimism, concerns loom over potential challenges in coming months due to disruptions caused by heavy rainfall. This, as the manufacturing and construction sectors recorded decreased output.
And that concludes our segment here, but don't go too far. My colleagues, that is Vivian Degwa, DJ Unique, will be up next, of course, with the entertainment. And further on, we'll have Mike Mwigi speaking to the Postal Corporation of Kenya. How is it faring on? Those are the discussions we'll be having this morning. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Don't go too far. You know, Entertainment Thursday, always keep it fresh.
Most definitely, this is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. Let me pose a question to you. When was the last time you wrote a letter and sent it via post office? Well, today we are talking about the current state of the Postal Corporation of Kenya, and in studio with me is Postmaster General John Kipyegon Tanui, ready to talk to us about the state of the Postal Corporation of Kenya. Karibu sana to the studio.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
How are you doing this morning?
You are doing well.
Yes.
You're doing well.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe to start with, what is the mandate of the Postal Corporation of Kenya?
Yeah, thank you. The mandate of the Postal Corporation of Kenya, first is the Postal Corporation of Kenya is established by an Act of Parliament of 1998. And two, it's supposed to provide accessible, affordable, and reliable postal services within the country and also in the world.
Mm-hmm. So, talk to what is the current state of the corporation as we speak now?
Yeah, the current state of the corporation so far is, I can say, is fantastic in the sense that currently we operate about 5 products. That is mail services, we have courier services, we have financial and agency services, and the assets management system. Basically looking at that in terms of the business and revenue streams, we are looking at the mails providing 1.2 billion Kenya shillings in terms of revenue, where courier is providing about 2.04 in the last financial year, and the agency services gave us about 80 million Kenya shillings, while assets alone gave us 208, giving us a total of 3.6. In terms of the state, we can say is stable, and we are optimistic that definitely Postal Corporation of Kenya will go places.
So that is part of the products that you have?
Yes.
And talk about the distribution of the last mile delivery of goods. How has it been so far?
Yeah, thank you so much. Distribution, of course, I know, looking at the advent of technology, this is an area that has been affected so much because looking at the volumes, it has gone down from what it was before. Initially, we were looking at a revenue of about 2.4 billion Kenya shillings in terms of revenue that comes out of it. But now we are looking at 1.2, which means we have lost about 60 to 40% of our revenue in terms of the distribution. What does it mean? We have actually gone ahead in terms of improving the courier part of our business. That is now giving us roughly around 90% of our revenue, which is able to compensate what initially we were getting through the traditional mail, which we are now moving to the courier side of our business.
You've also partnered with e-commerce entities. Talk a little bit about that and talk about its impact in terms of how it has helped in generating revenue for the corporation.
Yeah, thank you so much. In terms of the business opportunities in Kenya today, you must have heard about the president in terms of launching the digital hubs, coming up with the digital economy and so many other things. E-commerce plays a very critical role in terms of the expansion of the postal industry going forward, not only in Kenya. And what we are doing currently is we are trying to ensure that we improve and come up with an e-commerce platforms that will be able to be a marketplace for Kenyans that today you can do. Of course, we are looking at Kirinyaga. The rice that is available in Kirinyaga should be available to somebody in Turkana through our platform, and that is the e-commerce platform. We also are in talks with Amazon so that we can do the last mile for them within our business space.
What about network? The Postal Corporation of Kenya has over 600 postal outlets in the country.
Yes.
Are they still operational, or some of them are closed?
Yeah, initially we had about 1,000 postal networks within the country. But because of the profitability index that we looked at, we reduced it to around 623 outlets that we have currently. And we also are members of the Universal Postal Union, which means we have a network internationally of 192 states or countries all over the world. So we have the network. In terms of the reach, we are able to reach and deliver the last mile that Kenyans require, both locally and internationally.
I'm tempted to ask, do people still have postal addresses these days? Now that we are communicating via phone, via email, WhatsApp, do they still have them and mailboxes?
For sure, I want to assure you, I think in terms of our boxes, we have 480,000 boxes across the country. And 95% of these boxes are occupied by our renters, which are our customers. And basically looking into the future, we are looking at the post office that we are going to add value to the box that you have. That if you have a box 2334, what does it mean to you in terms of providing you the last mile logistics that we require? Of course, that box should be able to identify where you are. You deliver our mail directly to where you sit. If it is at home, we'll bring it back to where you sit and also at home. So basically, Kenyans still own the box, and we encourage them to have. Now we are moving into the virtual boxes, where we want to have your mobile being your postal address. We are coming up, the Kenyan government is also coming up with a national addressing system. Under the national addressing system, we should be able now to deliver the last mile delivery right to the doorstep of where you sit.
Now, is that number, was that the highest number that the Postal Corporation had, or the number was higher in yesteryears when there was no enough penetration of the internet?
Yeah, basically, we can say is the number has continued to remain the same, standard at 480,000. We have never lost customers in terms of the postal address. In any case, we are seeing customers coming requiring the physical boxes. That is why we are moving now into the virtual boxes, so that we can expand in terms of the reach and also enabling every Kenyan to own a box.
So currently, given the kind of technological advancement that has happened, not only in Kenya, but all over the world, what are the opportunities now that you want to explore as a corporation to ensure you remain afloat?
Yeah, the opportunities are many in terms of, the work of the Postal Corporation of Kenya is to provide logistics and the last mile logistics. The opportunities are so immense that what is available in the logistics world has been measured to be around 1.1 trillion Kenya shillings, which has not been explored. The opportunities are there. We are asking Kenyans to partner with Postal Corporation of Kenya, be it in terms of the application that we require, in terms of strategic partnership, in terms of so many, anything that you can do. We want to open the post office to Kenyans, that they can do business with it, that we can also serve Kenyans by delivering what they produce on a daily basis to the market.
Now, coming back to e-commerce, are you doing upskilling or reskilling of the workforce to ensure that even as you venture into the e-commerce or partnering with the e-commerce, they are up to the task, or they have the right skills and knowledge to undertake the task?
Yeah, when I took over as the Postmaster General, the most critical thing that we needed to look at is to look at the human resource capacity. So that human resource capacity is able to provide the required delivery with the right skills set that is required for the job. One thing that we did was to develop our HR instruments, and we got the approval from SCAC and forwarded also to the public service to ensure that the instruments that we use, the staff capacity that we have, are actually deployed in the right places to do the right jobs that they are doing. We now have an establishment of 1534, which means we have reduced the number from 23 to 1534. So what does it mean? That we are going to deploy the right staff to do the right job at the right time.
Talk about the structure of the corporation. How is it structured in terms of operations?
Yeah, in terms of operation, what we have done is we have looked at 3 business units. And that is, we have mail services, that is how it is structured. That is currently giving us roughly around 1.3 billion Kenya shillings in terms of revenue. We have looked at courier and e-commerce. So you talked about e-commerce. We felt that e-commerce needs to have a prominence within our structure and the human resource components. And we now have a GM in charge of courier and e-commerce. That is giving us, of course, we are projecting to have a revenue of about 1.5 billion Kenya shillings, which means that is a growth area that we are looking into. The other area we are looking at is the payment services. If you look at the Act, one of the key deliverables that we are supposed to provide is mobile services in terms of financial services, in terms of agency services. So we have a department in charge of payment services. Of late, you must have seen we are coming up with a new initiative of the Postal Pay. That is a platform of the Postal Corporation of Kenya that is going to be an alternative of the M-Pesa that we are looking at it today. So there is a lot in terms of trying to re-engineer the architecture of the human resource capacity within the Postal Corporation of Kenya to look at the 3 key business units that we have.
And what can you say, especially with the courier service and the mail service, what can you say so far is the impact, the overall impact of both the services to the corporation?
Now, there's been a lot of impact. One of the greatest impact we've had, if you look at the last general election, that was done under the courier department, which of course we distributed the logistics in terms of the voting materials and everything, and that gave us a revenue of 1.7 billion Kenya shillings in terms of that area. But overall, what we got from courier, we got 2.04 billion Kenya shillings. In terms of the mails, that is a traditional mail that we had before, but what we want to do is to re-engineer that aspect of the mails department so that at least we are able to be available in the market at any time that we need. For example, if you look at the stamps, of course, this is a department that handles the production of the stamps. Of course, in terms of selling, both locally and internationally, there's a key component called philately, which we really want to offer to the world, that they can buy some of the stamps that we have had over the years that we've had. Looking at the 1963 stamp, when Kenya attained independence, it is something that is in the market. People internationally like it. So that is basically what we intend to do.
It seems like you are leveling up to meet the demands of, let's say, your clientele and also the advancements in technology. But be that as it may, how is Postal leveraging the existing technology, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence, to boost operations?
Yeah, thank you so much. When you look at, when Kenya Post and Telecommunication Corporation was split in 1999,
yes,
we had 3 entities that came up. And one of the critical areas that we left that was never considered at the Postal Corporation of Kenya is the automation part of it. And without automation, it is very difficult to move and also ensure that we serve our customers well. The world we are living in is changing very fast. That what we were thinking about yesterday is not what we will think tomorrow, because things are changing. The AI is changing the world. Of course, my ministry, through the leadership of our cabinet secretary, are coming up with a national addressing system that is able to define where you are and locate you by the streets or the physical location where we are. And that is basically where post office will be in terms of delivering to the last mile that we need.
How are we supporting the rollout of the digital infrastructure, digital communication hubs through the existing infrastructure within PCK?
Yeah, what we have done is we want to be part and parcel of changing the scope within this country in terms of reaching out and also providing opportunities to Kenyans that they can do business. And one of that critical area is providing our installations for use in the digital hubs. Of course, we have just started GPO here, which is coming up. Hopefully, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we will be launching that digital hub within Nairobi. We are also coming up with one in Bungoma, where it's going to serve that part of the world in terms of providing digital jobs to Kenyans. So we are part and parcel of that initiative and joining our Cabinet Secretary to support that very important role that we are reaching out to Kenyans.
You also involved with the Konza Technopolis?
Of course, we are doing together with Konza and CA. Of course, this is a product that is financed by CA. We are providing the installation. Konza is providing the technical know-how in terms of building that capacity.
Is international logistics part of the core strategy of enhancing your operations? And are you considering that immensely as a way to boost your revenue?
Significantly, yes. Because basically what you're looking at is logistics is a business of the post office. That is what we are supposed to do, both locally and internationally. If you look at our network internationally, we are a member of the Universal Postal Union, which means we are also dealing with all the countries of 192 countries all over the world. If you have an item in Nairobi here that needs to be moved to Sao Tome or England, we'll deliver it through the postal network that we have.
Now, even as we talk about the state of the corporation, we cannot ignore the challenges that are there and how it has been affected by the advent of new technology. What are some of the challenges that the corporation is facing today, and how do you plan to address them?
Yeah, thank you very much. In terms of the challenges, of course, there are many. There are many challenges. The first thing when I took over is I found, in terms of financial liability, to the tune of 6.9 billion Kenya shillings in terms of liability alone, which means these are things that we have been incurred over the many years since we have been in existence. And any organization that has that kind of a liability must think seriously on how we are going to restructure our system to ensure that we sort out that problem, which is a liability to the corporation. So one of the critical things that is affecting us is the issue of the pension liability. It's now currently standing at 2.7 billion Kenya shillings. We have issues to do with unlimited staff contribution to the banks and so many other things. And this is a serious impediment to the expansion of the postal industry. The other critical issue that we find as a challenge is the issue of the automation. I mentioned earlier, one of the critical aspects that was forgotten during the time of developing or evolving of the postal network is to forget the issue of automation. If we took care of automation, then it will not be where we are today. One of the other challenges that we looked at is we looked at the staff population that we have. We looked at the floated workforce that we had. Currently, we have about 2,300 of them. And as at the time that number was there, the revenues were supporting that kind of staff complements that we have. As it is today, it's not able to support. So what are we doing to address these challenges? Of course, we've come up with what we're calling it transformation of the Postal Corporation of Kenya. And one of the critical issues we are coming up with, developing a cabinet memo that will be able to speak into the challenges that we have and ensure to open up the postal network, even to other people who are able to link up with the Postal Corporation of Kenya and do business. One of the things that we are addressing is how do we address the pension liability? As management already and our board, they have already discussed and approved that yes, this is the numbers that we need, and we are addressing now in terms of the excesses so that at least we have a wage bill that we are able to sustain and to pay. The other areas that we are looking at is looking at the area of our assets. Our assets is supposed to give us up to around 10 to 15% value as opposed to what it is today. Currently, we are earning about 200 million. We are saying we need to move this one to around 400 million Kenya shillings. That is increase in revenue. The other issue is deploying this staff, because I talked about the excess staff. We deploy them in the places where they are supposed to be. And those excesses, we will look at how do we allow them to exit the organization without, with the proper compensation that they are able to move.
Have there been cases where workers have complained about late payment of salaries?
For sure, I remember when I took over, we had an outstanding salary liability of 10 months. And you know, when you have a population that are not paid salary, that is the most demoralized population that you can work with. And the first thing that we were to address was to reduce the 10 months to what it is today. Of course, the business is changing. The mode of doing our business has continued to change. But our intention is to ensure that the current 2-month salary arrears that we have not paid to our staff should be sorted out in the new financial year by 1st of July going forward. There are quite a number of our businesses that we did to our customers. Some of them have not paid to the tune of about 3.1 billion Kenya shillings. This is impacting negatively on the performance of the Postal Corporation of Kenya, both in terms of compensating our employees and also in terms of providing the logistics that is required for Kenyans.
What can you say about government bringing business to the Corporation of Kenya? Has that been happening, and what has been the impact so far?
Yeah, we can say virtually the impact is great in the sense that we have virtually now signed an agreement with all the ministries and state corporations that we are providing the last mile logistics for them. The only challenge is when we require the payment of these services. We wait so long because of the budgetary allocations that they have at the Treasury and so many other issues. But basically we say that is the way to go because we are in one government. Of course, we do what we call G2G, government to government. And when we do, in terms of, you don't require a lot of procurement aspects. We can bid. Of course, the latest one we've done is for KEMSA. Now we are also intending to have a discussion with NTSA so that we can provide the last mile for the driving license and also the number plates. We are also in discussion with the Immigration Department so that we do what we call one government shop, that we can provide all the facilities within the postal network and be able to serve Kenyans.
Yes. As we come to a close, talk about the access to the utilization of the Universal Service Fund through the Communication Authority. How is that going to affect your operations?
Yeah, basically, if you look at the Act gave us the mandate through the Communication Authority that we can deliver any parcel below 350 grams. The challenge has been most of the postal networks are supposed to be opened even when it is not making any business sense. Now, if you go to a place like Uwamba, you'll find a post office. If you go to a place like Lamu, you'll find a post office. When it is not even making any business sense to have that postal network there, the cost of running that operation outweigh what we get from the postal network. This is something that is supposed to be financed through the Universal Service Fund, which is sitting at the CA. Now, if you look at the Act and the 1948 Charter, all Kenyans are supposed to be served, regardless of where they are, whether it's making business sense. And we are now requesting and ensuring at least that we have a discussion with CA on how they can finance some of these loss-making postal network, because it doesn't make sense for us in terms of doing business, or we close it.
So thank you so much for making time for us. we hope to host you again here on Good Morning Kenya and talk more about the business operations within the Postal Corporation of Kenya. That is John Kipyegon Tanui, who is the Postmaster General of the Postal Corporation of Kenya, speaking to us about the state of the Postal Corporation of Kenya. Don't go too far. Good Morning Kenya continues shortly. Thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. And now we shift conversation and talk about Public Service Superannuation Scheme. And in studio, I'll be having this conversation with Dr. Jonah Ayabei, who is the CEO of Public Superannuation Fund, and also Kevin Anyuor, who is a trustee. Gentlemen, karibuni sana.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Now, let me start with you, CEO, Mr. Ayabei. What is Public Service Superannuation Fund?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes. Public Service Superannuation Fund is a pension scheme which provides retirement benefits or cutters for the members of that retirement benefit scheme who are the teachers, the discipline service, employees of the National Youth Service, and civil servants. So it's a pension scheme for public servants, just to put it like that. Yes.
All right. What about its structure?
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, the way it has been structured is in tandem with its establishing law. We operate under a Public Service Superannuation Act of 2012. And within this act, we are actually registered with the Retirement Benefits Authority. So by extension, we comply with the Retirement Benefits Authority, Retirement Benefits Authority Act. So that's how it's structured. And so we have the RBA guidelines that gives the direction on what needs to be done for a pension scheme. The way it has now been structured is that we have a board of trustees who are basically the owners of the assets that we are managing. And all this membership of the scheme contributes to the scheme, to the fund. Once this contributed there, the owners on behalf of the members are what you call the trustees. So in terms of the regulatory and the functional structure, we have the trustees at the apex of the running of this scheme. And from there, we have the secretariat who supports the trustees on a day-to-day functioning to ensure that they achieve the mandate of the establishment of the scheme. Core in the functioning of a pension scheme basically is the membership. We are collecting contributions, we want to invest them, and eventually give a decent payment on exit to the members once they get their retirement. We have quite a number of other service providers that come on board to support, including the administrator, we have fund managers, we have custodians who give us advisory on a day-to-day basis to ensure that we administer the scheme effectively and in an optimal manner to give the return that is decent to the members when they exit employment.
Yes. Mr. Kevin, talk about the membership now. What numbers are we looking at? And what role does this scheme play in the entire benefits, retirement benefits industry?
Thank you very much. The PSS now has a membership of around 430,000 members. Like my CEO has said, this is a scheme that is composed of teachers. And these are teachers who, as at 1st January 2021, were aged below 45 years. The rest of the teachers, of course, are transited in the free pension that is paid by government. But any teacher who was in service as at 1st January 2021 and was below 45 years joined the pension scheme, which is a contributory scheme. And any other teacher who has been employed subsequently from 1st January 2021 also joins the scheme. So in terms of the teaching workforce who are members of the scheme is around 250 teachers. We have police officers, again, of the same age group. If you are 45 years and below, as at 1st January 2021, and you are a police officer in service, you join the scheme. The same with the employees in the civil service who are of that same job group. So the membership, as we speak today, is about 430 members composing the teaching service, the National Police Service, the public servants, and officers from the National Youth Service. So the membership, if I answer your question, is 430,000 members. So it is a big scheme.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest schemes in the country. And as a board of trustees, we are putting in place enough governance structures to ensure that at the end of their term of office, our members will have a peaceful life, enjoy their retirement, and we will ensure that we secure their future.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Mr. CEO, Jonah, you said this scheme was enacted in 2012, but it was operationalized in 2021. What took it so long to be operationalized?
Yeah, very right. I mean, the Act came into force in 2012. That was the enactment of the Public Service Superannuation Act. And you are right, it was not only until 2021 that it was operationalized. Anything new and change in any context or any environment is not easy. There is a lot of consultation that was required to the stakeholders. As you have heard from my colleague, the trustee here, we have quite a number of stakeholders who have interest in this scheme. So to transition from a non-funded scheme to the one that you have to contribute and the risk of investment is really on that member required a lot of consultation. The other thing was, of course, the sponsor of the scheme, which is the government of Kenya, required a substantial amount of time to, of course, prepare budgetary provisions. Remember, the previous civil service pension scheme was non-contributory. It was not funded. There was no fund to operate. The members, when they exit, used to be paid using the exchequer or funds from the consolidated fund. But with the coming of this, government required to set aside and be bold to set aside some contributions that it will make to the members. So currently, of course, with the coming of this funded scheme, there was need to define how much the members of the scheme will be contributing and how much the government will contribute. So such processes takes time, takes consultation, convincing, and of course public participation, and that's what it took a little bit longer to bring it on board. But yes, we can celebrate that it's a transformational move in the pension industry by the commencement of this scheme, which one can say took a little bit longer, but better it has started than having waited longer than that.
Yes. Mr. Kevin, how, given the level of membership that you have, how is this superannuation scheme contributing to the Kenyan economy?
Yes, that the scheme, like I said before, is huge. And we collect contribution from members and from the sponsor, that is the national government. And the contribution comes in on a monthly basis. And it is some good amount of money. The role of the board is to invest this money and invest it well and ensure that there are returns on investment. So the Board of Trustees, of course, on the advice of different service providers and the technical advice from our secretariat, this money is invested in different investment destinations. And once you invest the money, either in equities or in government bonds, the multiplier effect on the economy is felt across the board. And the investment portfolios are designed in a manner that they align to the government transformation agenda. They align to the national policies of government. And they also align to the now bottom-up economic transformation agenda, so that we ensure that the funds are not just sitting idle. The funds are used in the economy, and as you invest this money in the economy, the multiplier effect is felt across the board. So we have different portfolios that the money is being invested in, and we ensure that at the end of the year, the returns on the investment is also reinvested to get members a good returns at the end of the year. So it plays in the economy, it plugs in the economy, and the investment decisions are made purely based on the returns that this investment will give the scheme. And we align our investment to the non-risky areas of investment, so that members of the scheme are secured, their future is secured, and also the economy of the country is improved through such investments.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And let's take a short break.
Yes.
And when we come back, I'll want to find out, is PSSS the same as NSSF? So that is a question that we are going to go to once we come back from this short break.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you watching Good Morning Kenya here on KBC Channel 1. We continue with the conversation around superannuation scheme. And one of the things I would want to find out from Mr. Ayabei is this the same as NSSF in terms of, is it a voluntary contribution or it is statutory?
Thank you very much, Mike, for that question. The National Social Security Fund, NSSF, is a contributory scheme. Ours is also a contributory scheme, just to mention the similarities. However, the catchment and the mandate of the two institutions are different in terms of the people they are serving. The National Social Security Fund offers what we ordinarily call a Pillar 1 provision of pension in this country, where they are targeting to reach each and every member, whether you are in the informal sector, whether you are in formal employment, you make contributions to the National Social Security as a mandatory contribution. It's statutory that if you have an employee, you have to contribute to the National Social Security Fund. Now, when it comes to the Public Service Superannuation Scheme Fund, really, the difference here is that we are offering the pension provision and the retirement benefits and management for public servants. Remember, I said NSSF covers the entire the entire employment sector, whether you are in the informal sector, whether you are in government, whether you are in private sector, you have to contribute as a state requirement to the National Social Security Fund. For us, we are only looking at a segment of employees in Kenya. Those are the civil servants, the teachers, the discipline service, and that's the people, the pool at which they make the contribution. You will note that these members of Public Service Superannuation Scheme will still contribute to NSSF under the tier 1 arrangement, but they make contribution in this private arrangement or private contribution to their own pension scheme, which is unique. So there should be no confusion in this. The NSSF covers the entire employment sector, and their target. For us, we exist to focus on a particular group, which we can easily call an occupational pension fund for those particular organizations. Yes.
Mr. Kevin, how do you wanted to add something on that?
Yeah, I wanted just to add a small contribution that NSSF is for everybody. And if you look at Article 43 of our Constitution, Article 43 of our Constitution documents what is called social and economic rights. And it is a requirement of law that the government should make policies and legislative proposals to ensure that every Kenyan has a social and economic right. So NSSF is a realization of that basic constitutional right, that every Kenyan who is in the workplace must have a social security. Now, the PSSF, on the other hand, is statutory, but it is based on the employment relationship. It is part and parcel of terms and conditions of service for employment, where an employer tells you, if you work for me, you will contribute 7.5% of your salary to go for your retirement benefits. I will double for you that contribution, and therefore I will contribute for you 15%. So as an employee who is looking for a job, you will be enticed that, okay, this employer is willing to double my contribution, and therefore it becomes attractive to employees. So, like the CEO has said, NSSF is for everybody, but PSSF is for public servants who have now additional retirement safeguards, so that at the end of your tour of duty, when you reach the retirement age, your future is stable. So that you will go and claim the one for the NSSF, and then the Board of Trustees of the PSSF will also pay you your retirement benefits in a sustainable manner. So that by doing this, government has ensured that the social and economic rights under Article 43 is realized in our lifetime. And this is really pertinent because it is also an obligation of the state. Yes.
Still on you, Mr. Kevin, what can members expect in terms of benefit, whether you are actively working or after retirement?
Yes, what members will get after they retire from service is communicated to them now. So, like tomorrow we will be holding the AGM, the second annual general meeting of the scheme. Our administrators are going to give each member their statements to show, as at now, what is it that I have in my pension scheme? What is the totality of my contributions? What is the totality of my employer's contributions? And what is the totality of the return on investment? because this money is invested immediately we receive it from the sponsor. It gives us some returns. So on a yearly basis, we compound all the returns, and we give each member a statement of his benefits. So he can see at a glance, if I leave today, what is it that I will get from PSSF? And therefore, the statement will give each member the accurate contributions they have made, and what is it that we have got from our returns. So the members are aware, and they can predict, and they are able to make decisions. And you see, it will even influence whether you want to exit service, you want to stay in service and make your contributions to go higher as we proceed. So what you will get is communicated to you on a yearly basis. And for the past 1 year, after the conclusion of the AGM, the statements will be sent to each and every member of PSSF. Yes.
Maybe to add on that.
As you add on
yes,
that, talk about the annual general meeting too. Yeah?
Thank you very much. Okay. So just to add to what my trustee did mention, every member, when they're making a contribution to a fund or a pension scheme, they expect to also receive a decent income replacement upon retirement. So that if you are earning a certain amount when you are in your active service, the expectation of every member is that when it reaches to those years of advanced age, they are able to receive some portion, replacement of what they were earning while they were active. So they expect that the trustees and those who are offering service provision invest their funds prudently, optimize everything, take minimum risk as much as possible, so that when the time of exit, they are given a good package that can support them in their times of advanced age. They also expect to be informed on changes. They also expect that when the time of exit comes, they are paid their money on time, they are paid the right amount, and you pay the right person. So it's a very, very interesting thing that no pensioner or contributor would expect to exit and does not get their right. So that is what is entrenched. And what we have done at our scheme is to ensure that we work towards that when our members exit, we're able to determine their benefits accurately and able to pay them what belongs to them. So in terms of what my trustee did mention, so what we normally do is we have to reach out to our members. We have to inform them of their rights. It's their scheme, basically. But since not every member of the 430,000 members will be coming to manage, the arrangement and the governance is to have a board of trustees who actually are owning the assets on behalf of the members, and we are managing on their behalf. And we owe a responsibility to the members to communicate back to them. So what avenues do we use to reach them? One, even including this partnership that we have with Channel 1 of KBC, is trying to reach out to our members to get to know what is going on. The second other thing is that we are required by law within the retirement benefits arrangement to hold annual general meetings. So the second annual general meeting that we'll be reporting back to our members will be coming up tomorrow. And we will be streaming it live through the partnership that we have with KBC. We have other social media arrangements that all members can be able to log in wherever they are and be able to follow the proceedings and even send questions so that the trustees can be able to answer. So we have organized an annual general meeting that will be able to give them what transpired for the entire financial year, what returns, what investment we have put in place, and the plans that we have. So it's an accountability program that we do through our annual general meeting. Right.
Mr. Kevin,
yes,
your closing remarks.
I just want to inform members that all of them are welcome. Tomorrow, we will be beaming it live through the KBC Channel 1. We will also be streaming it live everywhere where our members, and our members are spread across the country. So we are welcoming our members to the annual general meeting tomorrow, where we are also going to launch our strategic plan for 2023 up to 2027. So my appeal to members is get into the platform. We have circulated the login details. Get in and ask questions so that you know what is going on in your scheme. And we want to appeal to our members to always engage the scheme through our social media networks, so that they understand their future, because this is about members' future.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank KBC for partnering with us, so that our members, this information reach our members in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mike. To join my trustee is again to welcome of the people, the members to join tomorrow. The chief guest at the launch of the strategic plan and AGM is the head of public service and chief of staff, Honorable Felix Koske, and we're looking forward to have a very exciting annual general meeting tomorrow. We are committed to safeguard and preserve the interest of our members. Thank you.
Asante. That is Dr. Jonah Ayabe, who is the CEO of the Superannuation Scheme, and also Kevin Anyor, who is the trustee of the Superannuation Scheme. This is where we cap matters this conversation. Don't go too far. Get your dancing shoes ready, because Vivian is up next with entertainment. Good morning.
All right, and we get to start off our entertainment segment right here on Good Morning Kenya, the show being Entertainment Thursday. Now we have a gospel minister in the house, as you have seen. Her name is Zipporah.
Yes.
Zipporah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling today?
Very good, so excited. Yeah.
I will allow you to introduce yourself to the people back at home who are seeing you for the first time. Who exactly is Zipporah?
Sure. My name is Zipporah Moses. I'm born again. I'm a mother of two, yes. And I'm a gospel minister. I've been serving God for so many years. I'm born again. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I cannot just take this opportunity for granted. May people experience God. May this song minister and the Kenyans.
Yeah.
It's not in vain serving God. For sure, I've come afar. I've come from afar. Just taken the hand of God to be where I am today. Yes.
Yeah. When did the music start for you? You said you've served God for a long while.
Yes.
When you talk about the serving, is it serving in terms of you singing? And when did that all begin?
Okay, I've been brought up by a grandmother in a Christian background. And then I started serving God as early as when I was in grade 5, class 5 by then. And I was serving all the ministries in the church. I was in the praise and worship as that young age. I also was in the choir ministry. I also taught Sunday school. Yes, and then along the way, now I started recording my songs, like writing down my songs as early as when I was in Form 2.
Okay.
And then you could hear even at high school, people singing my songs. I was so encouraged. I was so motivated to do that. So when I finished high school, I came to Nairobi. Now I started recording. Actually, I recorded my first song in 2011. And then it has been a journey. Well, the recording was not of a good quality. So I went back again in 2018, redid all my songs. I have 2 albums so far. And I paused for some time, just a break for some time. And then I got so many challenges in the ministry. And then when time came for me to release the songs now to the world, first I had one song that I loved so much. It's called Mipaka Yako na Walimwengu iko namna gani. So I loved these songs. Even my fans and my people loved this song. But now there is this one song that ministered to me so much. It's called Tu Maneno. It is a song of healing, a song of restoration. So in that moment, this song ministered to me so much, and now I felt now it's the right time to release this song to the world. The world needs this word of healing, and that's how we are here today.
All right.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you actually recorded your first song in 2011,
yes,
but you redid all your songs later on in 2018.
Yes.
In 2018.
Yes.
Just how important is it for an artist to care for their art that much, that you just know, okay, I recorded these ones, but they were not done pretty well. They are not at par, you know? So you went ahead and decided, I am re-recording all these other songs again.
Yes.
Just how important is that for an artist to just be so into their art that they can take time to just redo it again, because it's work, you know, and it's expensive as well. So just how important is it?
So now, when I listen to my work, it was just floating. It was just floating, comparing my work with what was in the industry, or rather what was in the world, what I would hear. My work was very poor, very poorly done. So now my husband told me, now I'm playing these songs for you again. He gave me money. I went to recorded the songs again, and at least I had grown. I had grown in the spirit. I had grown even in mind. So when I went back to the studio, then now, I did it to my best. Yes.
Unique, as a DJ, I'm sure you appreciate when artists give you songs that are like of good quality, you know, well mixed, well mastered and all that. So do you feel like that is really important for an artist to know, okay, this song, niko nayo, yes, but I really don't feel like it's good, and for them to take their time to actually redo it, you know? For you as a DJ, I'm sure that means a lot.
Very, very true, because you know, even me, hata kama niko hapa kwa screen, or I'm playing that song, I have also my fans. And also my fans wanataka pia mimi wapate something good, quality music, video wise, audio wise inafaa iwe poa, pia lyrics inafaa iwe poa. So it's good kama artist anaweza chukua tu time yake na in the studio, kama kuredo. There are so many artists nimwambiwa just go and redo this song, because change here, change video, change audio. That wana redo and unapata that song in
okay. Your mic is not really audible enough, but yeah, I get what you're saying. You know, it's really hard for you as a DJ to, when someone comes to you, gives you their music, and they're like, oh, Unique does not really support. But the fact is, the song is not at par, because you also have the qualities that you can play and the ones that you can't. Maybe if I come back to you, Zipporah Moses, what inspires your writing?
One, I had a minister who inspired my music first. I was in high school, and then I learned of the passing on of Angela Chimbaloza. So she inspired me with her music, and then I was moved. Then there came Rose Mwando again, still in high school. So I felt like, this is a good journey. This is the way to go. This is the way to go. So I also have family. My children like singing. I have a mother who is a pastor. So these people are encouraging me so much. I have a bro now who tells me, go, you have the potential, go. So I'm so motivated to do this, and even more than this. Yes.
How do you go about with your writing?
Now, it's a journey. It's been a journey. As I said earlier, these songs I recorded so long time ago, and I was a young girl working with festive bread. I was doing sales. So there is a route I used to walk, like a 10 minutes route. So in that route, I could get songs flowing. Songs were flowing. So when I go get somewhere to sit, I just wrote the songs as they flew. Again, I could get songs as I sleep. I see myself singing somewhere, ministering, and then in the morning I just come, record the songs, write them down as they were. Again, maybe in the ministry of preaching, yes, as I sleep, I just see myself ministering in a very large multitude or a very large congregation, and then in the morning, I go take my notebook, note what I saw in that dream, what I was doing as I slept. Yes, and I'm so encouraged. It has taken the hand of God.
Yeah.
I don't take this for granted. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right, DJ, we had to cut you short, Sazile, kwa sababu your mic wasn't very audible. So you were saying that you have artists that you've had to send back with their music and tell them that hii bado
hujafika. Na hata nikikwambia bado hujafika na kwambia the reason why ni wapi hujafika. Kuna ngoma nyingine unapata artist ametoa ngoma poa, like audio wise iko poa, lakini video amefanya shady. Sasa for the video I cannot even come and play on it. Watashanga udija anacheza ngoma gani, unacheki. So it's good for kama una feel ngoma haijafika bado, just go and redo it. Because hii art pia inafaa you invest in it. The moment you invest in your art, that's how it's going
it also gives back to you.
It gives back. But ukifanya kitu shady, yeah.
Okay. Now, Zipporah, now as a gospel minister, what would you say is your purpose in music? Yeah.
Okay, my purpose in the journey of music is to spread the gospel. It's not about money. I've seen people suffer in hospitals, unable to buy the good health. I've seen people, rich people, die, and they have money. So what I have, and I can tell my fellow artists, is that music, or rather music and this ministry is not about money. It's not about fame. It is about spreading the word. The Bible tells me in the book of Matthew 28, verse 19 downwards, go ye, make disciples of all nations. So in this, I don't even need money. If I needed money, I could have recorded the video so long time ago, and then I would be in the market. I'm just 1 month old in the market. So it is about making Jesus known. It is about making people know their maker and making their ways right with God. Yes.
I hear you on that, but I'm trying to imagine, probably you have some things else you're doing that would be able to sustain you. Now, for a gospel minister or gospel artist who's out there, and this is their only thing, this is their bread and their butter, would you still say that they should not do it for the money?
When we get to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, the Bible tells us that I will bless the works of your hands. So if God has given you this music as the work that you are doing, then so be it. May God bless it. So if He has also given you some other things to do, please do them. He will bless it. Yes.
All right.
So I'm not discouraging the gospel artists to forget about other things. Let them keep doing. Yes, nani hapendi pesa?
Kila mtu anapenda pesa. We wake up every day to try look for this moolah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, as we wind up, you can just talk to us about your very latest song. Tell us what inspired it, as you also let people know where they can find the song and find you as a person.
Sure. As I said earlier, I have more than 2 albums, and the latest song is Tu Maneno. It has really blessed me. I was down. I almost gave up with God. I almost gave up in life. But now, my son tuned that song. And then now I felt like, okay, God has sent my son to restore my ministry. God has used my son to remind me of my purpose in life. So now I got up, went to the studio, did a video, and then here we are. So this song has been a very special song to me, and I also dedicate it to you and to my fellow viewers and Kenyans. I really dedicate this song to them.
Where they can find it on social media?
It is in YouTube. Zipporah Moses, Tu Maneno. So many other songs are coming through.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Zipporah, for coming through to the show. Unique the DJ, if you can just play that as we wind up with this interview. Thank you.
tumaneno, tumaneno, Bwana tumaneno, mimi nipone. Bwana tumaneno, tumaneno, Bwana tumaneno, mimi nipone. Neno lako lainua kutoka mavumini, Bwana tumaneno, watu wako wainuliwe. Bwana tumaneno, tumaneno, Bwana tumaneno, mimi nipone. Bwana Yesu tumaneno, maishani mwangu Mwokozi tumaneno, na ngoja nikuone. Bwana tumaneno, nena nami tumaneno, Bwana tumaneno, Bwana nizungumzie nipone. Waponya magonjwa yote kwa neno lako, Bwana tumaneno, magonjwa yote yapone. Bwana tumaneno, nena nami tumaneno, Bwana tumaneno, mimi nipone. Neno lako ni njia ya kweli na uzima, wafuatilia neno lako ulitimize kwetu. Bwana tumaneno, neno la uzima, tumaneno,
Yes, this is Entertainment Thursday, and this is how we do it right here each and every Thursday. Now we move on to our next interview, and right now I am joined by two really amazing people. We have Jose Kasikoe, who is not new to Entertainment Thursday. He's been here a number of times. He is a singer, songwriter, and he's also Grammy nominated. Yes, and with him is Erica Asikoe, and Erica Asikoe is an educator, enrichment curriculum developer, and they are here to talk to us about something that I feel is really, really interesting by the name Baba and Me. Asikoe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vivian, for having me, and I'm happy to be back on Thursday morning. It's always fun coming back here, and it's one of my favorite shows because of the variety of things that you guys give us.
Yeah.
You know, from entertainment to edutainment.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Erica, welcome. This is your first time on this show.
Yes.
We're pleased to have you.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. Yes, it's my first time.
Yes.
Hopefully not my last.
pretty sure not your last. Now, I want us to go straight into what Baba and Me is. So if you may just describe to us, what exactly is Baba and Me?
Okay, Baba and Me is an event, or is an event that will be happening on June 8th, this Saturday, at Pink Towers International School. But it's basically a concept that I came up with, me and Erica. Erica being an educator and me being an entertainer, I was looking at a way of bringing education and entertainment together. And specifically, as a veteran musician touring globally, I realized there's a lot of content that our kids listen to. And sometimes when you want to pass messages or positive messages, sometimes it comes through when kids are playing. And I wanted to make sure, I wanted to make it like it's more of the parents playing with their kids, whereby there's a lot of things we can learn from them, and there's a lot of things also they can learn from us. Yeah.
So is it like a game? Is it musical? How is it, Erica?
Yeah, so we have a 12 to 5 day, and we are mixing in games and activities, but all of the games and activities will be introducing STEM concepts. So we're talking science, technology, engineering, and math, but in fun ways and engaging ways. And so just like Joseph was explaining, you know, often, even me, I'm guilty of it. I bring my child somewhere, I leave him, I go do my other things, but we are encouraging this to be a day where we do things together. So every activity is something the child can do with the father or father figure who's coming. And so that's what makes it a little bit different from your average sort of festival day or something. We want Babas and their kids to be doing things together. Yeah.
So it's an event whereby you have parents coming in together with their children or guardians with their children, and there are activities for the grown-ups and there's also activities for the younger ones, but they get to interact in between these activities.
No, there's one activity that we're both going to do together, and I'll demonstrate in a little while, but every activity is something that the Babas and Baba figures are going to do side by side with their child. Yeah.
And
So
just to
there's no
get it,
separation.
and just to get it, also to put it out there, because I know sometimes they'll be asking why not Mama, you know, because but in our concept is like right now is a series. We're starting with Baba and me, and then we're gonna come to Mama and me, and then we're gonna come to Farm Jam. But also why Baba and me? Because I felt like there's a lot of things that we can learn from each other as fathers. Number one, why is my child doing this differently from the other child? So there's a lot of things that we're trying to encourage. We're trying to encourage father figures, even male figures, to step up, because in Africa it takes a village to raise a child. So for the kids that don't have their fathers present, we're also calling upon the uncle, the grandfather, the neighborhood dad, you know, so to step up and just come through for these kids.
And I really love that initiative, you know, whereby you're just bringing a community. You know, back in the days, I'm not that old now, but back in the days, kids were raised by a community. But nowadays, things are totally different. Like a neighbor can't even see your kid doing something that is wrong and tell them, no, that is wrong. They'll just be, well, siakona mzazi wake, you know. So I love the fact that you're trying to bring back that community, and maybe just what's the importance of such, you know, having such a community.
I mean, I want to just add, you know, and there's all kinds of circumstances, and there is the family whose father is present, but he's working. He can't come to this Saturday thing. There are those that have lost their parents to disaster and they're deceased. There are all kinds of circumstances, and so why not step in, right? We're always trying to do that for each other and within our own families. Do that for your neighbor, do that for your cousin, do that for your small nephew. So I think building that community is so important, and we can do it. We can. We've done it before, as you said, right?
So it can still
this
be
is not
done.
new.
Yes.
You know, the way we are bringing back fashion from back in the day, let's bring back that also.
True. It's very important, and especially when you look at most of the time when you go to these entertainment sports, you come to a place with to hang out with your family, but you might find that somebody else just came to hang out with, just came to adult at the same spot. So the thing of having a bouncing castle on the side and that's a bar on the other side, I feel like, and then there's somebody out there who's like in charge of playing with the kids, not necessarily the parent. I feel like there's a disconnect. So it's very important for us when we come to do activities, we're actually going to do activities with our children. Not necessarily I'm going to a sport where it has a bouncing castle, I'll be doing my stuff on the other side and the children will be doing their own things on the other side. And that's why we came up with the concept of Baba and me, Mama and me, and then eventually going to do the Farm Jam.
And for you particularly, you're so passionate about children, because I know even your music as Jabali Africa, you normally do songs for kids. You never forget the children. You know, the last time you were here, we were talking about, you know, something to do with children as well. Your Grammy nomination was through children's music. So why are you so passionate about it, and why is it so important for all of us to have that kind of interest in how our kids get to be brought up?
I'm so passionate about it because I know everything I wanted to be, I learned it when I was younger. And anything that we feed to these kids, even the positive messages, if you want our kids to think positive, we have to start feeding them the positivity early. So, and being in that space, when we released a children's album, I toured the US and did almost 600 schools. And I saw the value, like I'll be there for 45 minutes. These American kids will be singing Swahili. They'll be learning a lot of good things about our culture. When I came back home, it broke my heart when I saw like our kids are not, but the things that they're listening to and the things that they're exposed to is not age appropriate. So I say it is important for me to start that conversation here. And starting that conversation, I have to start concepts that basically involve us to develop our stories. one thing, if you look at the content that is coming from Disney World, for example, because I know a lot of parents lean towards teaching our kids through those shows. Some of them, they are actually putting up the information that they're putting in there. They're talking about their story. So sometimes when our kids are around these other kids, they feel inferior because the character they see is Tom Sawyer, they see all these other characters that amplify a culture that is not theirs. I want them to understand also being a Kamau is cool. Being a Njoroge is cool. When they hear their last names or they hear their village names, it's a cool thing. We have to make our heroes, I want them to know Dedan Kimathi is a hero. Not only Superman, but Kimathi also is a hero. So, and that's why it's important for us to support this kind of initiatives.
Yeah. Erica, still on that, you know, nowadays with the age of social media, which we are living in, you know, literally, like we see so many kids being exposed to things that are not really age appropriate, as Joseph has just mentioned, specifically when it comes to music, because everyone is jamming along to this particular song. But when you listen to the lyrics of that song and you see a kid dancing to it on TikTok, you feel a little bit of, you know, you cringe a bit because you're like, oh, did the parent let this kid dance to this song and sit there and record it? Well, maybe they don't understand the words, but maybe just how dangerous is that to expose, just us exposing children to some things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, your point is well taken. I totally agree. And even sometimes in my own home, you know, YouTube can be a dangerous thing. Algorithms, you watching one thing, you turn around, and my son is watching something different. I have to, you know, catch that. But I think we can also really empower these young people. We didn't grow up with these devices in our hands. There's so many magical things they can do. And so to that same point, like, and Joseph's point, let's teach them to make their own songs and to make their own dances so that when they're, you know, videoing themselves dancing, it's lyrics that they have made that represent something positive about their family or about their community. And then they're still getting that, that buzz off of, you know, being in front of the camera and on social media, but we've turned it into a positive message. So I think we can take back that control and use those devices for good as well.
Yeah, we definitely should. Now, you have a demonstration to make. We actually have little kids in studio with us. We have, let me see if I remember the names. Don't tell me. We have Lukman, we have
yeah, you got it.
Ahadi, and then we have Zain.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we have little ones in studio, and I'll just allow you to walk their way and show us a bit of the demonstrations.
Good. And Joseph, you may need to come so you can also be the Baba in the situation.
Okay.
So we'll just do something really quickly. Hi, guys. So I want everyone to just see also, just really quickly, the game you guys were playing earlier. Could you just do it really quickly? Because it's actually a math game. Can you do that game really quickly? You remember? Go ahead, get a little closer and sing loud. You guys aren't going to believe. You've seen your children playing this game, I promise. But it's actually a math game. Go ahead.
See how many doctors does she need? 2. 1, 2.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So right now, why did you pick the number 2, Zane?
I wanted him to get out.
You wanted Ahadi to get out. So in his head, he's actually trying to calculate how many slaps will it take, right, mathematically, to get to this person. And because there's an odd number of them, if I joined or if Baba Ahadi joined, that number would change. So you see, even the thing we're suggesting that will happen in Baba and Me on Saturday is something our kids are already doing naturally. The games they're playing, sometimes they already have math and science baked in. So I just wanted to see you guys see that really quickly. Now we're gonna do one other thing. Baba, can you take Ahadi's seat? Ahadi, can you come roll these dice? And what these guys are gonna do is, stand right here, darling. What these guys are gonna do together is, let me get a pencil out. They're going to try to do math very quickly together in their head. So Ahadi's gonna roll the dice, And then you guys, whatever number's on the dice, you're going to use this paper to see how many ways can you get there, okay? Baba, you're going to help them, obviously.
Okay.
But everyone's going to take turns. Let me just scoot you in just a little bit. All right. All right, Ahadi, roll the dice, just right here, not too hard. Roll the dice. Go ahead. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Okay, the
It got
dice
out
are
of the
way over
shot.
there. Somebody
Okay.
will have to tell us what they say.
Yeah.
What did they say? What number?
4 and 6.
4 and
4 and
6
6.
is?
Huh?
4 and 6 equals?
4 and 6 equals?
4 and 6 is 10.
Is 10. Okay, so now you guys together, you're gonna come here and I'm gonna keep talking. You're only gonna have 40 seconds or so. You're gonna write down all the ways you can get to 10. How many ways can you get to 10? Go ahead. So that's one of the games they're gonna do. I'm just gonna keep talking so they have a few minutes to try to come up with their answers. Of course, we also have puzzles that Baba and Baba figures can do with the kids. We will also have some engineering that they can do. They will be building some things out of just supplies you even find around the house. And let me think, what else will they do? Of course, we'll have singing, we'll have dancing on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun, I promise. And the program, Baba and Me, from 12 to 5 on Saturday, June 8th, goes from for ages 5 rather to age 12. So we welcome everyone to come. Let's see how they're doing. So right now, I would have a timer normally, a little thing of sand for a minute or so, and they would work together to see how many ways can they get to 10.
Do you get the buzzer?
Okay. Let's see what we have so far. Hadi, you can share your seat with Luke then. So 5 plus 5 is 10, yes, sure, we know that. 5 plus 4, who wrote 5 plus 4? Oh, 5 plus 4 plus 1, okay. And, I can't read this number.
That's 9.
9. Oh, 9 plus 1. Okay, sure. And this could go on. Someone, as the kids get older, now right here we have a 6, 7, and 8-year-old, but certainly older kids will start adding multiplication and division, right? 20 divided by 10, or 20 divided by 2 is 10, or they might say, you know, 11 minus 10 is 11 minus 1 is 10. Sorry, I'm stumbling. But you get the idea. And this is the kind of thing, it's just math, right? It's simple, but the faster our young people can do this sort of thing, the easier time they will have when they get to higher grades and things become more complicated and letters get added to numbers, right? So it's very, very important that they can do this fast math in their head. So that's just a quick example of something we're going to do at Baba and Me on Saturday. Thank you. Can I have my pencils back? Baba, we go back to the couch?
Yeah, go back to the couch.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Can we continue?
We'll just chill. Almost done. There you go.
Okay, and we have seen what to expect at the Baba and Me concert. And there's something I actually read from the bio that you had sent, from the little brief, and you said that we need to start now developing their curiosity, that is the children's curiosity and their confidence, and the schools alone cannot do it.
Yeah.
So the schools alone cannot manage to bring them up to the people maybe the society will be proud of.
Yeah.
So we all need to take part in just trying to develop them, you know, to develop their intelligence and all that. And as I have seen with the demonstration that you've just made, it's really to I don't know, to like make their minds think, for lack of a better word, you know, to allow them to just allow their minds to explore. So I really, really love it. And I love the idea that you've come with. And I feel like it's something that is quite new. So I hope that it's something that will grow, you know?
Yeah, because if you look at the whole, it's important, the little things that we do when you were younger. As guys, I didn't know I was going to become a musician, but when I was peeping in the hall, when I was seeing the older, the older guys rehearsing or doing something in the social halls, you know, because those spaces gave us careers, and even the boxers that you hear, the ones who gave us, who made this history for the country, all of us started while we were playing in the social hall, and then all of a sudden dance became something, music became something, martial arts became something. So we cannot ignore these things, and we have to start them early. And that's why it's important, all these little things that we do, you never know, might turn into a career. Maybe you have your own heroes. Did you know you're going to become a journalist? Really. But sometimes you stumble into something that along the way became, now here you are, it's become a career, you know?
So there's an age limit to the kids that will be participating. I heard you mention from ages 5?
Yes, to 12. Most of the activities are geared to those age groups. So yes, we're targeting those age groups for this event. Yeah.
So for this particular one, but you'll be advancing to other ages as well?
Yeah, so even with the music, I'm going to approach it in a different way. Like, we're going to have different activities, but even the music, I know nowadays there's a lot of hip-hop energy, you know, but also I'll try to encourage them to play instruments. So I'm just going to do the same value I was giving a lot of these kids in the West. Is also important. I felt like charity should begin at home. Especially when you come at home and you realize they're all consuming, because of the hunger of them to consume something cool, they end up consuming the wrong content. Or you find that parents giving their children a phone, and then when you look at the content that is on the phone, it disturbs you because it becomes the source of entertainment. But I feel like the small things, how our great-grandparents used to do, the things they used to tell us when we used to sing, so embe, umbe, all these things had a meaning, you know? Our stories were oral, but now it just happened to be them, they recorded their stuff, you know? And Disney World came in with concepts, and even now, they've run out of concepts. Sometimes they stumble into African concepts because African concepts we did not put them in a setup whereby it can be consumed over and over because all our history was oral, you know? There's a time when we used to enjoy going to the upcountry to hear the stories of our grandfathers, grandmother, uncle. There was always those things. So we just want to make sure we start recording that stuff for our future generations to enjoy.
That's amazing. One more time, could you tell us where the venue will be at, if there are any charges?
Yes. First of all, Babas are free, you know? I'll insist on that. Babas are free. So we have, it's going to be at Pink Towers. It's going to be costing each child 2,500 just to participate. But Babas are free. And it's at Pink Towers International School in Lavington on Cabecerian. There's 2 Pink Towers, so make sure you're on the right one, on Cabecerian Avenue, right? Yeah, so, and for those who want to register, you send your money on the number 0721-376-961. That's Ann Kuseve, and
First 100 people get a T-shirt. So if you register, your T-shirt will be waiting for you when you arrive.
First 100 people get a T-shirt, and we're looking forward to giving our children its edutainment, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate for this initiative that you've just begun, and we appreciate that you came to the studio and, you know, got to talk to us about this. Thank you so much, Zain. Thank you so much, Ahadi. Thank you so much, Lukman, for coming. You are amazing. Right now, we take a quick commercial break. Don't you go too far, because Entertainment Thursday will be continuing in a bit. Yes, yes, yes. And we are back. And our DJ is on fire. By the way, I love that tribute song by Tipsy G for Jambi Koikai. Our deepest condolences to Jambi's family and friends. Now we get on to our next interview of the day right here on Entertainment Thursday. Good morning, Kenya. And I am joined by Waithaka. Waithaka is a US-based Kenyan musician who is an award-winning producer. He is a composer, and he is also a label owner. Waithaka,
yes.
Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you for having me.
You're doing well this morning?
Yes, I'm trying. Yeah.
All right, just get us into the world of Waithaka. For someone who's seeing you for the very first time, you know, who exactly is Waithaka? What would you love people to know about you that maybe I haven't mentioned in my intro?
Pretty much you've mentioned everything. But I'm a music producer based in Dallas, Texas. But I predominantly work with Kenyans. So I usually work from the US and Kenya. Yeah. And I own a label, Waithaka Entertainment. And I've worked with a couple of artists, and I've been doing it now for over 20 years. Yeah.
You've been in the game for more than 20 years.
Yes.
Maybe if I just get into, you know, your world, as I mentioned, the world of Waithaka.
Yeah.
Like, what are your earliest memories of music, and when did you realize that you actually love, you know, music and would love to get into it?
Oh, my earliest memories I can think of is growing up in KU. I grew up in KU. My parents, my dad worked at KU. And so my earliest memory is just him playing music, just being exposed to the different types of music, you know, from here, from outside. And then I think the moment that I realized I wanted to do the music was when I went to the US for college, and then I was doing my prerequisite classes, and like everybody else, I wanted to go into the medical field, but now start with nursing and then go through, decide whether you want to go through to do, be a doctor or whatever, any other practice. And I had to do a music class. And I realized I was pursuing the wrong thing. And that's when I decided I was going to do the music thing. And switched majors. And from there, I just went on and did fine arts and specialize in music technology. Yeah.
And that's what you've been doing since?
That's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah. You know, being that you live in Dallas, that
Yes.
is in the United States, what do you feel is different in terms of the music industry? Because their industry is way above, you know, our industry. So what are we lacking? What are we maybe doing wrong? Or what do you feel should be done? Maybe if there's something the government should jump in so that we at least get our industry to a place where, you know, our artists can be people who are viewed in the society as, you know, like it can be viewed as a career, like it is in the United States.
But I do feel it's viewed as a career here. I think the biggest difference is how people benefit. In the US, because of the copyright laws and how the system is structured, you can literally make a good living out of it. And laws are enforced. As we can all see the fights, let's say even between Spotify and songwriters, and how songwriters fight and they win cases, stuff like that. There's also, the system just functions a little bit much better, and it prioritizes the owner of the intellectual property. So that protection of intellectual property is the part that I feel is very, very important, because here, I can't speak much about Kenya because I haven't lived here in over 25 years. So I go based on what I see online, and or even based on the people that I've worked with, where like we see how our music is being exploited, but there's no remuneration for our work. So those are the differences you can encounter. And then just access to information. You know, if you, let's say for instance, you have a question, you can pretty much call up the copyright, you know, the U.S. corporate office, and someone can walk you through the process, stuff like that. So access to information, access to resources, implementation of law, enforcement of law, based on intellectual property. I think that's one of the biggest differences. Yeah.
So if we change that, at least artists will have money in their pockets.
It could be a good start.
Yeah, it could be a good
it
start.
could be a very good start, and because it's not easy, because even in the US it's still a fight, but I feel it's easy because they started from somewhere. Yeah, and they're doing the work, and then the people involved in the industry are doing the work. They're not just waiting for the government to just, come and save them. They do their part, and then they force the government to take measures, like change the laws, and enforce the laws. Yeah.
When you say they do their work as creatives, what exactly do you mean?
There's a lot of lobbying societies. So there's groups where like musicians come together and they'll go lobby, like let's say a state senator, a US representative, because if I'm a taxpayer and this is how I earn my money and then it's not being protected, you as a US senator or the representative, you're the one that I should go to and lodge the complaint and say this is what we need because I'm paying taxes and I feel like my taxes don't represent what I'm doing. Yeah, or I'm not benefiting from.
So do you work solely with Kenyan artists? Because I've looked at your work and most of it you're working with Kenyan artists. And why specifically that?
No, I don't work specifically with Kenyan artists. Actually, I didn't start working with Kenyan artists until around 2012.
Okay.
Because I didn't have access. So I started out with a lot of, the first few artists that I worked with were Liberians, Ghanaians, and Congolese artist called Keisha. So with that, in the meantime, with the Kenyan artists, I was doing a lot of remixes, and thanks to A-Star for CTA. So he's the one who made everything accessible for me. And 2012, that's when I met the first Kenyan artist that I really worked with continuously, who's Kwame. And from then on, I was able to get access to other artists. And also I met producers like Provoke, who introduced me to artists like Wangeshi, French Boy. And the more I came back, because I left in 1999, I didn't come back until 2010. So there was a 10-year gap. So when I came back, I was almost having to just readjust again, know how to access people, know who to talk to in order to be able to get access to, because the system here does run a little bit different. And when you're far removed, you can kind of like lose it. But now, having known people like Provoke, I was able to access different artists. Yeah.
How would you describe your production style?
I play piano, so it's pretty much influenced by that. It starts from that, but I would say it's a combination of different things based on the music that I've consumed. So I do like a lot of, grew up with a lot of R&B music, but also at the same time, I grew up listening to a lot of music that was played on Utna, which shows my age, but Utna, KBC, stuff like that. So there's a lot of South African music, a lot of Congolese music, and then I just find a way to merge it and give it my own sound. Yeah.
All right, so you have a new album that was released last month. It's pretty new.
Yes.
It's called, you'll correct me with the pronunciation, because the way you've written it, so it's either Soul Duets or Soul Duets.
No, it's Soul Duets.
Okay, tell me about Soul Duets.
So this is the third installment of like a compilation of albums that I've done, and each kind of has a theme. So the first one was Odds by Queens, where like I got a couple of ladies together thanks to Waithera of Wanavokali. She brought the likes of Sero, Mary Page, Zaituni, and I was able to create an album based on just ladies. I told them, whatever song you have, come with it, I'll create it, and then we just built a body of work where we're showcasing female talent. Yeah, and then the second one was a combination of older music that I had and new stuff that I worked with people who were in my soul duets albums, and others that I had been working with, like A-Rosh, Wanjine, and that one was called Black 254, which is pretty much the black stands for, the BLK stands for black, and the 254 was the zip code for Kenya, and then 1 is a zip code for the US, so it was Black 2541. And then Soul Duets was just a continuation, and I wanted to do duets where I would pair up a male and a female artist. We just create something, and I wanted it to be, I was intentional, the only thing I was intentional about was the kind of music I was going to put behind it. I wanted R&B music because I'm based in the US, so I'm trying to figure out how can I penetrate into that market with Kenyan artists. Yeah.
I love that you worked with only females, you know, that's something that also Fancy Fingers did just recently. He also has this album that is an all-female feature album. Just how important is it for us to empower women, specifically in Kenya, you know, in the music scene, because it's pretty much very male-dominated?
Yes. It's important because talent is talent, and we can't limit someone's rise based on their gender. So to me, I just feel like if, at that point I just wanted to do something, because I noticed I'd been working with male artists. Apart from, let's say, Wangeshi and Nessa at that point, I had only worked with male artists. And I wanted to do something different because I realized also I had to challenge myself to be able to understand how ladies write from their perspective, how I can contribute, or just how I can help them get it out. And for me, the music part is what comes easy for me. Now the putting it together is where like I had to work with them, and it was a good challenge and idea, but also it was an idea pitched by a friend of mine called Kibali Moreli, who introduced me to the likes of A-Rosh and Waithera, because we met in 2014. I came here and we did I volunteered to teach music at a Friends Foundation, and that's how the guy Kibali mentioned, I think you should try out an all-female album, you know, because he had access to all the different artists, and they were not getting, like the presence wasn't there as much.
From the name Soul Duets, like what inspired it? Okay, we get the duets, but the soul, actually the soul is written S-O-U-L, and then the D. And then there's the D. So it's what inspired it?
It's kind of like an abbreviation. So it's the music coming from the soul, and the D is sold out to either mean, you know, the music sells out, or it's very soul ingrained in what we do. And I didn't think much about it. It just felt right, and that just became the theme. And that's what determined the type of music I was going to make.
How different is it in terms of the sound that is in there compared to your previous 2 albums?
It's not a big difference. More inclined towards R&B music, which is just a preference. But I just take the R&B music and package it in a way that can be consumed in Kenya, which means, you know, either we're going to sing in Swahili, Kikuyu, or whatever language anybody wants to use. It's just how can we put it together to be part of for the audience to be able to ingest it.
There's a question I have on, I'm sure you've listened to the song Mwaki.
Yes.
By
Sophia.
Oh, that name had almost, you know, skipped my mind. By Sophia Nzau.
Yes.
And it is a song that went global. It has more than 100 million, I believe, streams, you know.
On Spotify.
Which is something really big for even not just a Kenyan artist, but an African artist.
Any artist, yeah.
So do you feel it's time for us as Kenyans to tap into our culture, for our songs to go global, you know? The fact that she tapped into her culture, she went with a Kikuyu vibe, and then with that kind of sound, it just sounds, you know, amazing. So is it time for us as Kenyans to tap into, you know, our cultures?
Yeah, actually, because that comes from a genuine part. You know, you can't, having lived in the US, that's when you realize, or having lived outside of the country, that's when you realized, I am Kenyan. Because the other person is reminding you, is like, you have the accent, your mannerisms are different, but that's what makes you who you are. And if you can find a way to just package that and export it in a way like Sophia and Zhao did with Mwaki, you get to understand that our uniqueness is in who we are as a people rather than who we are trying to imitate. So we have to be comfortable, like Muzi was saying, we have to be comfortable with even our names. So that's even one of the many reasons I chose to go with Waithaka, you know. But I also have to accept the fact that name is going to be butchered a lot by different people, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, because I'll correct you every chance. And if we take pride in that, it will be easy for us once we put out a product and put it out there where we can compete and defend it, because we are more authentic in who we are than somebody else who's trying to do like a Kikuyu song. Like, let's say if you have a German person trying to sing a Kikuyu song or a Luo song, it's not going to be the same with Postal Juang singing a Luo song. Or let's say with Kwame singing a Kikuyu song, you know. But then also at the same time, it won't be easy for Postal Juang to sing a country song when you have an American who can do it much more easily. Yeah, and be more authentic with it. So I think it's more of like, the authenticity is much more natural.
And that authenticity is what sells.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also the one thing about Kenya that's special, and I wish, well, this is just my opinion, I wish we'd embrace it more, is our diversity. So I always hear this debate, we don't have a Kenyan sound, but our Kenyan sound is our diversity. The unifying thing is the language, the common language like Swahili. So, or let's say like Kikuyu, where Sophia and Zhao puts out a song like that, and then people can identify it, even non-Kikuyu speakers. They're like, oh, I've heard that language, and I understand where it comes from.
Have you heard of urban tone? Have you
Yes,
listened?
and I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Phew. So I was, I thought I would have put you on the spot.
No,
you know, if you said no.
I try to stay up to date with what's going on.
What's your feeling of that genre of music?
We should push it more. It's a good representation of the how can I say? So to me, it's the youth. It's the music of the youth. And if you look everywhere across the globe, the music of the youth is struggle music, and they express it differently from any other type of music. The way urban tone sometimes is taken here is the way rap was taken in the US back in the 80s. Rap and hip hop is one of the biggest types of music. So for me, I'm a big fan of the young guys and what they're doing, be it urban tone, be it what the guys like Kinoti and was it Keith and
Oh,
what
Keith
they're
and
doing.
Now.
Keith and Now. Or let's say what A-Rosh is doing with folk fusion, Wanjini. As long as we are pushing ourselves forward, I don't have a problem with that. But for me, urban tone, I remember the first time I had Lamba Lolo, I enjoyed it because it reminded me of Genge when the first time I had Manjua Nairobi, all that stuff, you know, like it was very different and it was distinctly us, you know. It's like the way Kwaito is South African or Amapiano, when you hear it, you know, this belongs to this region. So I don't have a problem with it.
Actually, urban tone is a grandchild of Genge, because there was Genge, there was Genge tone, and then now there's urban tone. All right, so you have an event coming up. Tell us about the event.
So it's a celebration of me being in the music industry for 20 years. back in the US and here. And I just wanted to celebrate. I just wanted to celebrate and showcase all the people that I'm working with. So majority of the lineup is people that I've worked with for the last 10 years. And I just wanted to do something to celebrate with people. And I've never done a show here where which it still feels odd, but where my name is the one that's on the headline. Because I'm either always supporting somebody who I'm working with, or I'm attending somebody's show. But I just wanted to celebrate and also, remind myself that I've been doing this for that long and I enjoy it.
Celebrating that milestone.
Yes.
All right, so who are some of the people that are going to be in the lineup, if you can just mention?
Oh, yeah, so we have Sero, Wanjine, Eirosh, Kwame, Waithera, Zaituni, Meryl Page, Wabi, Wanavokali are going to be doing the background vocals for the people, because I've been working with them on and off, and they were part of so I did, before I put out this album, I did another album with a Zimbabwean friend of mine based in Canada. His name is MJ Remoto, so we featured Wanavokali, we featured Jivu, Polaris, Pauline. So I tried to just incorporate Kenyans, the Kenyan artists that I work with, with either, if I'm collaborating, let's say with someone like Keisha or MJ Remoto, just to cross, over to different places. Yeah.
All right, so when is the event happening? Where is it happening? And the charges? It's
happening June 15th. It's at, oh my goodness.
Kuona Arts
Kuona Arts, yeah. Kuona Arts Creative. And right now we're doing the advance tickets, and it's, I think it's, what, Usani, yeah. The link is at Usani. You have to excuse me, but I think it's, the range is between 1,500 to 2,500.
Okay.
Yeah, but the advance tickets are a little bit cheaper.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to our show today. And we hope that people are going to turn up for that event, because that lineup is mad fire, mad talent.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thanks you for having me.
All right, that was Waithaka, and I hope that if you're a lover of live music and just good music that, serves the soul, you're going to find time to attend that event that is happening on the 15th of this month at Kuona Arts Creative. Now, this is where we put a cap to Good Morning Kenya Entertainment Thursday today. My name is Vivian Dego. Until next time, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
Channels as well as on KBC Channel 1. And let's now have a look at the order paper this morning in regards to the business lined up for consideration by members of the National Assembly. Where given priority is a procedural motion by the Chairperson Budget and Appropriations Committee on the reduction of a publication period of a specified period. The Chair, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, the Chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, in this particular procedural motion, says that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders number 120, the House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplementary Appropriations Bill, and this is National Assembly Bills number 32 of the year 2024, and the reduction of this bill is from 7 days to 1 day. After consideration of the procedural motion on the reduction of the publication period for the Supplementary Appropriations Bill, the House will then consider the bill. This is National Assembly Bills number 34 of the year 2022. This particular bill will be read for the first time this morning. Again, this is a bill by the Chair on Matters Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Supplementary Appropriations Bill, National Assembly Bills number 32 of the year 2024, is currently at the second stage. We'll be expecting debate on this particular bill. This bill is again by the Committee on Matters Budget. And after that, the House will then move into the Committee of the Whole, where the House will be considering the same bill, Supplementary Appropriations Bill, National Assembly Bills number 32 of the year 2024. This morning, the House is also set to debate the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025. This is a motion on the debate. This is a general debate by the chair on matters budget and appropriations committee, that the House adopts the report of the budget and appropriations committee on its consideration of the estimates of revenue and expenditure of the medium term for the financial year 2024-2025. The committee already laid its report on the table of the House yesterday on June 5th, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 221 of the Constitution, Section 39 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, as well as standing orders of the House, standing orders number 239, do approve the issuance of a sum of 2.3 trillion shillings from the consolidated fund to meet the expenditure during the year ending 30th of June 2025 in respect of the votes contained in the first schedule, subject to the paragraph 3 under the Committee of Supply, that the House also makes a policy and financial resolutions as contained in the second schedule of the order paper, and that finally, orders that the Speaker do now leave the chair to facilitate the consideration of the said budget estimates, and this is with respect to each vote and program of the Committee of Supply as contemplated under Standing Orders number 240, and these are considerations of estimates in the Committee of Supply. This morning, lawmakers will also be resuming debate on the Statute Laws Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bills number 64 of the year 2023. This bill is by the leader of the majority party. The business of the National Assembly is just about to commence this morning. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Honorable Gladys Boss, is presiding over the business of the National Assembly this morning, brought to you by KBC, and this is equally in partnership with the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. Allow me to hand you over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing and have yourself a good morning.
Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor excuse me, as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. I direct that Sergeant at Arms ring the bell for 10 minutes.
The quorum bell is currently on at the National Assembly this morning. This is pursuant to the directive by the Speaker, who has just ordered the Sergeant at Arms to ring the quorum bell, pursuant to Standing Orders of the House, Standing Orders number 34, on matters quorum, as at this particular juncture, the House is not properly curated, and as we await for that, a signal from the chamber that indeed the House has raised the numbers this morning. And remember, according to the Standing Orders of the National Assembly, at least 50 members ought to be in the House when the House is commencing business. So as we await for signals from the Sergeant at Arms this morning and the chamber in general, from the Speaker, that indeed the quorum has been achieved, allow me to keep taking you through the order paper this morning, where the House is set to consider a supplementary appropriations bill, National Assembly Bills number 32 of the year 2024. It is an order, a paper full of budget debate this morning. And away from the appropriations bill and the budget estimates for the year 2024-2025, the lawmakers this morning will be resuming debate on the statute law miscellaneous amendments bill, National Assembly Bills number 67 of the year 2022. The bill is currently at the second stage. The land laws amendments bill, National Assembly Bills number 2, number 76 of the year 2023. This is Land Laws Amendment number 2. National Assembly Bills number 76 of the year 2022 is another bill that lawmakers will be debating this morning in regards to various amendments proposed to the Land Laws number 2. The report of the Auditor General on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for 9 constituencies in Bungoma County is a motion that will be spearheaded by the Chairperson, Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee, that the House adopts the report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, popularly known as NGCDF, for the 9 constituencies in Bungoma County. This is for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, and 2015-2016. The committee laid its report on the table of the House on the 7th of March this year. The chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Matters Public Petitions Committee will be moving a motion on the public petitions on funds spent contrary to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution, that the National Assembly adopts the report of the Public Petitions Committee on its consideration of public petition number 4 of the year 2022. This public petition is in regards to the funds spent by the national government contrary to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution, and the committee laid its report on the table of the House on the 12th of March, the year 2023. Remember, our dear viewers, Article 223 of the Constitution permits the government to use monies in case of emergency and later on report to the National Assembly in regards to its usage without first seeking the approval of the House on the usage of the monies. These are in case of emergencies such as drought as well as floods and disaster management in general. Let's now move ahead, where the Chairperson Public Investments Committee on Matters Social Services, Administration of and Agriculture will be moving a motion on the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of specified state corporations, that the House adopts the second report of the Public Investments Committee on Matters Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on its consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Kenya Medical Training College for the financial years 2017-2018 all the way to 2020-2021, the Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital for the financial years 2019-2020, the Kenya Medical Research Institute for the financial year 2022, 2023 and 2024 and 2023, as well as 2013-2014, and finally the Kenya Medical Laboratory Technicians and Technopolis Board for the financial year 2014-2015 all the way to 2020 and 2021. The committee laid its report on the table of the House on the 22nd day of February, that being a Thursday this year. The chairperson, Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Matters Library, has a motion this morning. The motion pertains the enhancement and matters enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. The committee, through its chair, seeks to have the House adopt the report of the Select Committee on the Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. The Committee on Broadcast laid its report on the table of the House on the 4th of October last year. The other business lined up for consideration this morning is a motion by the chairperson of the Committee on Matters Regional Integration on the inspection visit to semi-autonomous institutions of the East African Community in Uganda, as well as the implementation of status of the reports of petitions and resolutions passed by the House. This is another motion by the Committee on Matters Implementation. Away from the motion by the Committee on Matters Implementation, the other motion is on the alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya. This is a motion by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. The committee, through its chair, seeks to have the House adopt the report of the Departmental Committee on Matters Trade, Industry and Cooperatives on the inquiry into alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya. And the committee already laid its report on the table of the House. When this was done is on the 7th day of March 2024. Standing Orders number 44, subsection 2C, provide for members to seek for statements. Honorable Wakili Edward, the member for Gatanga, will pass on to Standing Orders number 44, 2C, request for statements. This statement is in regards to inordinate delay by Kenya to ratify the agreement for establishment of the African Finance Corporation. This request for this statement will be handled by the Departmental Committee on Matters Finance and National Planning. And away from member for Gatanga, the member for Loima, Honorable Protas Akunja, will be requesting for a statement on matters disbursement of the presidential secondary school bursary. This disbursement of the presidential secondary school bursary is a statement that will be requested by Honorable Member for Loima and will be handled by the Committee on matters social protection. From all indications, the House has raised the requisite number this morning. Allow me to hand you over so you can follow up on the developments coming from
administration
the
of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages.
Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41, I wish to report that to the House that I have received a message from the Senate regarding the approval of the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 by the Senate. Honorable members, you may recall that the bill was committed to mediation, to the Mediation Committee pursuant to Article 112(1)(b) of the Constitution, following the National Assembly's rejection of the Senate amendments to the bill on 13th May 2024. The message from the Senate conveys that on 29th May 2024, the Senate considered and approved the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024, in the form developed by the Mediation Committee. As you are aware, during the afternoon sitting of the Wednesday, 5th June 2024, this House also approved the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024, in the form developed by the Mediation Committee. Honorable members, the approval of the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill 2024 by both Houses of Parliament therefore concludes the bicameral consideration of the bill in accordance with Article 110(5) of the Constitution. In this regard, and in accordance with the provisions of Article 113(3) of the Constitution, the Speaker will proceed to present the bill to His Excellency the President for assent. The House is accordingly informed. Thank you, honorable members.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, June 6, 2024, morning sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and Financial Statement for the year ended 30th June 2023 and the certificates therein in respect of 1. Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Needles Limited. 4, Kenya Animal Genetic Resource Center. 5, Gatitu Tea Factory Limited. 6, Kenya Sese and Tryphosomiasis Eradication Council. 7, Moi Teachers College Baringo. 8, National Youth Service. 9, Kenya Engineering Technology Registration Board. 10, Road Maintenance Levy Fund, Kenya Urban Roads Authority. 11, Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya. 12, Engineers Board of Kenya. 13, Technical University of Mombasa Enterprises Limited. 14, Cheragani Marakwet Water and Sanitation Company Limited. 15, Kibabi University. 16, National Health Insurance Fund. 17, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. 18, Sacco Societies Regulatory Authority. And 19, Financial Inclusion Fund. Thank you, and I lay.
Next order. The chairperson of the, yes, I can see there.
Thank you,
Chairperson of Health.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 6 June 2024. Reports on the Departmental Committee on FICO World Congress of Gynecology and Obstetrics, at the Paris Convention Center, France, from 9th to 13th October 2023. And 2, its experiential learning visit regarding the harm reduction program for persons who use and inject drugs, held in Mauritius from 20th to 24th November 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Okay, I think we have a personal statement from Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, member for Navakolo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2E, I wish to make a personal statement regarding the passing of my beloved mother, Mama Agneta Nerima. Honorable Speaker, very few things leave an indelible mark on the heart of an African man like the death of a mother. We all remain children of our mothers, irrespective of age, rank, and status in society. The world momentarily came to a standstill. I was heartbroken and my heart bled. However, when messages of condolences and calls started pouring in from Kenyans across the country, led by the executive and this honorable House, I regained strength and confronted the situation, accepting God's will and embarking on the journey to lay my mama to rest. Honorable Speaker, biologically I was bereaved. However, in the true African sense, it was this honorable House that was bereaved. It was the people of Navaholo constituency who were bereaved. It was my relatives, friends, and associates across the country who were bereaved. With a profound sense of duty, all these groups mourned my mother as their own parent. The moral and material support was immeasurable. Allow me to thank the great people of Navaholo most sincerely. Mama's death demonstrated that over the years I've served my constituents. We have created a strong bond and sense of familyhood. From the associations of local border borders to the Mama Mboga across markets, the teacher associations and the clergy, they all played a critical role in giving me moral support and making material and financial contributions to give Mama a befitting send-off. Honorable Speaker, I was deeply touched by the President's message relayed immediately after I lost my mother. His material support cannot be gainsaid. Special gratitude to my party leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, EGH, for his personal call and delegation to condole with me. I must also sincerely thank this Honorable House for offering me the shoulders to lean on at my hour of need, led by the Right Honorable Speaker himself and the Honorable members who visited to condole with me, both in Nairobi and my rural home. This gesture and the enormous financial support is the reason I stand strong before you today. Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the judicial arm of government, the judges and magistrates who made moral and material contributions and attended the burial in Navaholo. To my brother and friend, the Honorable Bernard Shinali, MP, who chaired the funeral committee and coordinated all groups, I am most grateful. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I cannot fail to recognize the role played by the Catholic Church, particularly Right Reverend Bishop Joseph Obanyi, my parish priest, Reverend Father Isinyu, all the evangelical church leaders, and a team of doctors led by Dr. Kenga Mwoga. The outpouring of support extended beyond my constituency. I'm eternally grateful to all those near and far, from all walks of life, who rallied with me. Thank you, Honorable Speaker and members, for your love, care, and commitment during my family's time of grief. I am forever indebted. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And our deepest condolences from the House and myself in person. Thank you. Next statement. I think we have a statement by Honorable Edward Miri, member for Gatanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, subsection 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning regarding the inordinate delay by Kenya in ratifying the agreement for the establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, the Africa Finance Corporation, in quotes AFC, was established on the 28th May 2007 as a multilateral development finance institution dedicated to promoting private sector-led infrastructural investment across Africa's continent. Its mission is to address Africa's infrastructure development needs and foster sustainable economic growth through equity project development, financial advisory, and treasury management services. Honorable Speaker, the AFC operates under the agreement for its establishment dated 28 May 2007. 43 Africa's sovereign states signed an instrument of accession and acceptance of membership to the AFC as a supranational body. The Republic of Kenya, through the National Treasury, signed the instrument of adherence to the terms of the AFC on the 7th June 2017. But since then, the National Treasury is yet to submit the instruments for the treaty establishing the AFC to the National Assembly for ratification. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the following. 1. What milestones have been made in effecting the ratification of the treaty for the establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation in Kenya since signing of the instrument of adherence on the 7th June 2017? 2. What has caused the inordinate delay by the National Treasury in submitting the treaty to the National Assembly for ratification? And 3. When does the ministry intend to submit the treaty to the National Assembly? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next, we have a statement by the Honorable Member for Loima to respond to it. Is the chairperson for lands here? Or someone from the committee? I don't think I saw anyone. So they shall be informed by the clerk's desk. But I think we can proceed with the Honorable Member Prontos Akunja, Member for Loima. You may proceed with your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the disbursement of the Presidential Secondary School bursary. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Social Protection regarding the lack of full disbursement of the Presidential Secondary School bursary. Honorable Speaker, the Presidential Secondary School bursary was established in 2013 under the State Department for Social Protection with the aim of enhancing secondary school enrollment, attendance, and completion of studies by orphans and vulnerable children. This initiative was a commendable commitment to actualizing the provision of Article 53(1)(b) of the Constitution, which enshrines the right of every child to free and compulsory basic education. The National Assembly plays a crucial role in approving the annual budget, which includes an allocation of 1.2 billion to the Presidential Secondary School bursary, intended to be distributed across the 290 constituencies. However, it is deeply concerning that for the last 2 financial years,